What if Earth was once a nightmare? Today, we're exploring 10 horrifying versions of our planet. At number 10, we have the planet of fire. More than 4 billion years ago, Earth was almost impossible to recognize. Forget the blue oceans, green forests, and clouds we see today. The surface was an enormous ocean of molten rock. Volcanoes erupted across the planet, toxic gases filled the atmosphere, and giant asteroids were constantly crashing into the surface. The sky would have been dark and violent. The ground itself could glow red beneath your feet. And the strangest part? There was nowhere to hide. No forests, no oceans, no shelter, no life. Earth looked less like a home and more like something from another planet. But underneath all that chaos, something incredible was happening. The planet was slowly cooling. Water began collecting on the surface, the atmosphere started changing, and eventually, the conditions for life began to appear. The Earth we know today was born from a world that looked completely impossible to survive. At number 9, we have Earth under endless asteroid attacks, and just when Earth was beginning to cool down, space started throwing rocks at it. During a period known as the Late Heavy Bombardment, the young Earth was hit by enormous numbers of asteroids, and these weren't harmless shooting stars. Some impacts were powerful enough to melt enormous areas of the planet's surface. Imagine standing on Earth and looking up. Instead of seeing a peaceful night sky, you could see enormous rocks falling toward you from every direction. One impact could destroy an entire region. Another could throw enormous clouds of debris into the atmosphere and send shockwaves across the planet. And if life had already begun trying to survive, it would have had an extremely difficult time. Earth wasn't just dangerous because of volcanoes or toxic gases. The entire universe seemed to be attacking it. At number 8, we have Snowball Earth. Now imagine Earth covered in ice. Not just the North Pole, not just Antarctica, almost the entire planet. Hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth may have entered periods so cold that glaciers stretched toward the equator. The oceans froze. The continents disappeared beneath ice. And from space, Earth would have looked like one enormous white snowball floating through the darkness. For most life, this was a nightmare. Imagine being an organism trapped beneath kilometers of ice, with almost no sunlight reaching your world. Yet somehow, life survived. Some organisms may have found refuge near underwater volcanic areas, where heat and chemicals created tiny pockets of habitable environments. Earth had basically turned into a giant freezer. And somehow, life refused to die. Eventually, the ice began to disappear. The oceans returned. And Earth escaped one of the strangest phases in its entire history. At number 7, we have the poison ocean Earth. Today, you could jump into the ocean and find an incredible world filled with fish, whales, coral, and microscopic life. But Earth's ancient oceans could be completely different. In some environments, parts of the ocean became filled with hydrogen sulfide. And this isn't just unpleasant-smelling water. Hydrogen sulfide is highly toxic. Imagine diving into an ancient ocean. The water is dark. There are almost no animals. And instead of clean air waiting for you at the surface, poisonous gases could potentially escape from the water and enter the atmosphere. These environments may have created enormous dead zones where only specially adapted organisms could survive. So if you had a time machine and decided to visit ancient Earth, you probably wouldn't want to go swimming. Earth wasn't always a paradise for life. Sometimes, even the ocean itself was trying to kill you. At number 6, we have when oxygen nearly destroyed life. Here's something strange about Earth. The gas you are breathing right now may have once been one of the planet's greatest disasters. Billions of years ago, Earth's atmosphere contained almost no oxygen. Then tiny organisms called cyanobacteria started producing it through photosynthesis, and they produced a lot of it. For us, that sounds like good news. For many organisms living at the time, it was basically poison. They had evolved in a world without oxygen, So when oxygen began spreading through the oceans and atmosphere, many couldn't survive. An entire planet was slowly being transformed by microscopic organisms. It was one of Earth's earliest major biological disasters. But here's the twist. That same oxygen eventually made complex life possible. The gas that helped destroy ancient life also helped create the world where animals, and eventually humans, could exist. At number 5, we have Earth of giant insects. What if you walked into a forest and a dragonfly flew past you with the wingspan of a small bird? Hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth was home to creatures that would look completely ridiculous compared with the insects we know today. Some giant dragonflies had wingspans of more than half a meter, and on the ground, enormous millipede-like creatures crawled through ancient forests. For a human, this world would feel like stepping into a horror movie. The reason? Earth's atmosphere once contained significantly more oxygen than it does today. Higher oxygen levels may have helped some insects and other arthropods reach enormous sizes. So imagine walking through a prehistoric forest. You look up, and something the size of a bird is flying toward you. Then you look down, and something several meters long is crawling between your feet. Thankfully, oxygen levels eventually changed, and Earth's giant insects became a thing of the past. At number 4, we have the Great Dying. This wasn't just another bad day on Earth. This was the closest our planet came to becoming a biological disaster zone. Around 252 million years ago, enormous volcanic eruptions began releasing huge amounts of gases into the atmosphere. Temperatures rose, the oceans changed, ecosystems started collapsing, and then the animals began disappearing, one after another. This became known as the Great Dying. Around 90% of marine species and most land species eventually disappeared. Entire ecosystems were erased. Imagine looking across Earth at the time and realizing that almost everything you see is dying. It was a planet-wide catastrophe. But Earth had one advantage. Life is incredibly stubborn. Even after one of the worst disasters in its history, surviving organisms slowly spread again. The planet wasn't finished, not even close. At number 3, we have the dinosaur apocalypse. For more than 160 million years, dinosaurs dominated Earth. Then, in a matter of hours, their world changed forever. Around 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid slammed into what is now Mexico. The impact released an unimaginable amount of energy. Shockwaves tore through the surrounding region. Fires spread. Huge amounts of dust and debris were thrown into the atmosphere, and sunlight was blocked from reaching the surface. Plants began dying. Herbivores lost their food. Predators lost their prey. The food chain started collapsing from the bottom up, and the dinosaurs that had ruled the planet for millions of years were almost completely gone. But there was a strange consequence. Their extinction opened the door for another group of animals to take over. Mammals, and eventually, humans. Without that asteroid, our species might never have had the chance to exist. At number 2, we have the almost unbreathable Earth. We often think of Earth as naturally perfect for humans, but that's only because we happen to live during the right chapter of its history. Earth's atmosphere has changed dramatically over billions of years. There were periods when oxygen levels were very different from today. Too little oxygen, and many modern animals would struggle to survive. And here's the scary part. From space, the planet could look completely normal. Blue oceans, brown continents, white clouds. Beautiful. But the moment you stepped outside, your body would realize something was terribly wrong. No comfortable atmosphere, no modern technology, no oxygen mask. Just you, standing on a planet that looks like home but isn't built for your lungs. Earth didn't need to look like an alien planet to be deadly. Sometimes, all it needed was the wrong atmosphere. At number 1, we have Earth before life. And finally, the most terrifying version of Earth may have been the simplest one. Earth before life, before dinosaurs, before trees, before fish, before even the smallest creature existed. There were no forests, no animals, no birds flying through the sky, no oceans filled with life, just a young planet shaped by volcanoes, impacts, extreme temperatures, and toxic gases. For billions of years, Earth was nothing more than a lifeless world drifting through space. And yet, something happened. Somewhere in those hostile oceans and chemical reactions, life eventually appeared. From microscopic organisms came increasingly complex life. From that came animals, then dinosaurs, then mammals, and eventually, us. Every human being alive today exists because Earth somehow survived all of this. The fire, the asteroids, the frozen worlds, the poison oceans, the mass extinctions, the impossible atmosphere. Earth wasn't always a paradise. It had to survive billions of years of nightmares first. And somehow, it did. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe for more. See you in the next one.